What's up, trainers? Welcome back to PokePlayLab_DBSHQ, your home for elite Pokemon TCG strategy and master level deck builds. Today, we're diving into a brand new master deck build featuring Gardevoir EX and Arbok EX, a powerhouse duo that's straight up toxic in today's meta. This deck brings insane synergy, tight tempo control, and brutal disruption that keeps your opponent on the back foot from turn 1. Whether you're grinding the online ladder or dominating your local scene, this build is designed to apply pressure and never let up. If you're a fellow content creator, drop your YouTube link in the comments. I love supporting the community and checking out your channels. Make sure you hit the community page to vote in the latest image poll, and stay tapped into the announcements playlist for tournament updates, raffles, and giveaways. And if you want to support the channel directly, you can donate through the Cash App link on our YouTube page. Every bit helps keep the content coming and the builds getting stronger. So buckle up, trainers. It's time to unleash pure chaos with Gardevoir EX and Arbok EX. Stay sharp, stay awesome, and as always, keep playing. First up, we're running 4 copies of Ralts, our essential basic Psychic-type setup piece with 70 HP. It comes with Psyshot, costing 1 Psychic and 1 colorless energy, dealing a solid 30 damage early game, just enough to chip or pressure while we set up. Ralts does have a Dark-type weakness, but it gains a -30 resistance to fighting, which can come in clutch in certain matchups. And with only a 1 colorless energy retreat cost, it's easy to pivot out when we're ready to evolve and take control of the board. Next up, we're running 3 copies of Kirlia, the evolution of Ralts and a key step in our setup engine. Kirlia is a Psychic type with 90 HP and 2 solid mid-game attacks. First, Magical Shot costs 1 Psychic and 1 colorless energy and deals 30 damage, simple, consistent chip pressure while we build the board. Then we have Psychic, costing 2 Psychic and 1 colorless energy. It hits for 60 base damage, plus 20 more for each energy attached to your opponent's active Pokemon. That means the heavier they load up, the harder they get punished, which is huge against energy-hungry decks. Kirlia does have a Dark-type weakness, but it keeps that clutch -30 resistance to fighting. And with just a 1 colorless energy retreat cost, it's easy to pivot, promote, or transition into our main attacker when we're ready to take over the game. Next up, we're running 3 copies of Gardevoir EX, the evolution of Kirlia and the heart of this entire deck. Gardevoir EX is a Psychic-type monster with a massive 310 HP, and it comes with one of the strongest abilities in the format, Psychic Embrace. As often as you like during your turn, you can attach a basic Psychic energy from your discard pile to one of your Psychic Pokemon. The catch? You place 2 damage counters on that Pokemon for each energy attached this way, and you can't use the ability if it would knock out that Pokemon. This ability is what makes the deck explode. It turns your discard pile into an energy engine and lets you power up attackers instantly, creating insane tempo swings. Then we have Miracle Force, costing 2 Psychic and 1 colorless energy. It hits for a massive 190 damage and heals Gardevoir EX from all special conditions, meaning status effects won't slow you down. Yes, it has a Dark-type weakness, but it keeps that clutch -30 resistance to fighting. And with 2 colorless retreat costs, it's surprisingly mobile for such a heavy hitter. This card isn't just strong, it's the engine, the accelerator, and the finisher all in one. Next, we're running 3 copies of Mimikyu, a basic Psychic-type Pokemon with 70 HP. It features 1 powerful ability and 1 attack. Ability Safeguard, prevent all damage done to this Pokemon by attacks from your opponent's Pokemon X and Pokemon V. Attack Ghost Eye, for 1 Psychic and 1 colorless energy, place 7 damage counters on your opponent's active Pokemon. This card is fantastic for stalling while you set up your board. Safeguard makes Mimikyu a major problem for decks that rely on X or V Pokemon. Many opponents will struggle to deal with it efficiently. In some matchups, Mimikyu alone can take down multiple Pokemon X or V just by avoiding damage and stacking pressure with Ghost Eye. Weakness to Metal-type Pokemon ×2. Retreat cost, 1 colorless energy. Next, we're running 4 copies of Ekans, our basic Dark-type setup piece with 70 HP. Ekans comes with Acid Spray, costing 2 Dark energy. It deals 30 damage, and you flip a coin. If heads, you discard an energy from your opponent's active Pokemon. That disruption can seriously slow down energy-dependent decks and throw off their tempo. It does have a ×2 weakness to Fighting-type Pokemon, so that's something to keep in mind in certain matchups. And with a 2 colorless energy retreat cost, it's not the most mobile card, but its early game disruption potential makes it worth the slot. Ekans sets the stage for what this dark package is really trying to do: apply pressure and interfere with your opponent's setup right from the start. Next, we're running 4 copies of Arbok EX, the evolution of Ekans and the disruption engine of this deck. Arbok EX comes in with a solid 270 HP and 2 extremely annoying attacks. First, Bind Down, costing 2 dark energy, hits for 70 damage, and during your opponent's next turn. Their active Pokémon can't retreat. That alone can trap key attackers in the active spot and completely mess up their tempo. Then we have the real problem maker, Menacing Fangs. For 3 dark energy, it deals 150 damage and forces your opponent to discard 2 cards from their hand. That's where things get toxic. Most Pokémon X take 2 solid attacks to knock out, and while we're applying that pressure, we're also shredding their hand. So they're not just losing board control, they're losing options. Now combine that with Xerozic's machinations. You drop their hand down to 3 cards, then swing with Menacing Fangs and discard 2 more. Suddenly, they're left with just 1 card in hand. That's the core strategy of this deck: lock them in place, strip their resources, and leave them with nothing to work with. Arbok EX does have a ×2 weakness to fighting-type Pokémon and a 2 colorless retreat cost, so positioning matters. But if you pilot it correctly, this card can completely suffocate your opponent out of the game. Next, we're running 2 copies of Munkidori, a basic Psychic-type Pokémon with 110 HP that plays a sneaky but important role in this deck. It comes with the ability Adrena Brain. Once during your turn, if Munkidori has any dark energy attached, you can move up to 3 damage counters from one of your Pokémon to one of your opponent's Pokémon. That's huge. Since we're already placing damage counters with Gardevoir EX's Psychic Embrace, Munkidori lets us reposition that damage strategically, turning self-damage into offensive pressure. You can finish off low HP targets, set up future knockouts, or manipulate prize trades in your favor. It does have a ×2 weakness to Dark-type Pokémon, but it keeps that clutch -30 resistance to fighting. And with just a 1 colorless retreat cost, it's easy to pivot in and out when needed. Munkidori isn't just support, it's precision damage control that keeps the deck flowing and the pressure constant. Next, we're running 3 copy of Rourke. This supporter card lets you draw 2 cards. Then grab a basic energy from your discard pile and add it to your hand. It's a solid card for hand control and energy recovery, giving you just what you need to keep your strategy going, especially in longer matches where energy can get tight. Next, we're running 4 copies of Dawn, and this card is all about consistency. Dawn lets you search your deck for a basic Pokémon, a Stage 1 Pokémon, and a Stage 2 Pokémon, reveal them, and add them to your hand. Then you shuffle your deck. That means in one single card, you can grab your entire evolution line, setting up Ralts, Kirlia, and Gardevoir EX all at once. It keeps the deck flowing, reduces dead draws, and ensures you're assembling your board exactly when you need it. In a deck built around evolution chains, Dawn isn't just helpful, it's essential for smooth, reliable setup. Next up, we're running 4 copies of Xerozic's Machinations, and this is one of the most important cards in the entire deck. Xerozic's Machinations forces your opponent to discard cards from their hand until they're down to just 3. That's where the pressure begins. The game plan is simple but brutal. You play Xerozic's Machinations first to shrink their hand to 3 cards. Then you follow up with Arbok EX's Menacing Fangs, forcing them to discard 2 more. Now they're sitting there with just 1 card in hand. 1 card. At that point, you've completely flipped the momentum. They're top decking, they have limited options, and you're fully in control of the pace of the game. This card isn't just disruption, it's the setup for a full hand control lock that can suffocate your opponent in just 1 turn cycle. Next up, we've got 3 copies of Boss's Orders. This card lets you switch in one of your opponent's benched Pokémon into the active spot, which can be a total game changer. The key here is timing. Only play Boss's Orders when you know you can knock out the Pokémon right away. Whether it's to finish off a damaged threat or pick off a weaker target for a quick prize card, it's all about setting up that decisive play. That's why I run 3 copies. It can turn the game in your favor instantly. Use it wisely. Next, we have 2 copy of Night Stretcher. This item lets you put either a Pokémon or a basic energy card from your discard pile into your hand. It's a super flexible recovery card, whether you need to get back a key Pokémon for your strategy or grab a basic energy to set up your next attack. Night Stretcher gives you that utility when you need it most. Next, we're playing 1 copy of Super Rod. This item lets you shuffle up to 3 cards from your discard pile back into your deck, in any combination of Pokémon and basic energy. While you can definitely mix it up, For example, shuffling back 1 Pokémon and 2 energy, I usually use Super Rod to recycle 3 energy, keeping my energy count healthy and ready for future turns. Next we 3 copies of Buddy Buddy Poffin. This card lets you search your deck for up to 2 basic Pokémon with 70 HP or less, and put them directly onto your bench, then shuffle. It's a key setup card in this deck, perfect for grabbing important combos like Ralts, Ekans Ormimikyu, early on and getting your board established fast. Next, we're including 3 copies of Switch. This card lets you swap your active Pokémon with one of your benched Pokémon, which is especially useful if we need to rotate Arbok X or Mimikyu that needs support. Next, we're running 1 copy of Hero's Cape, and this card can be an absolute game changer. The Pokémon this tool is attached to gets 100 HP. That extra 100 HP can completely shift prize trades in your favor. It can push one of your key Pokémon, like Gardevoir X or Arbok X, out of one-shot range and force your opponent to take an extra attack to secure the knockout. And in a deck built around disruption and control, buying even 1 extra turn can be the difference between winning and losing. Hero's Cape might only be a one-of, but when it hits the board at the right time, it can completely swing the momentum in your favor. Next, we've got 7 Dark Energy and 6 Psychic Energy, a solid, balanced lineup for this deck. Dark Energy powers are disruptive attackers like Arbok X and Munkidori, while Psychic Energy keeps Gardevoir X and the rest of our Psychic Pokémon charged and ready to swing. This split gives us consistent early game setup and strong late game pressure, so we're never stuck short on the energy we need when it matters most. And that's a wrap on our master deck build featuring Gardevoir EX and Arbok EX. If you love the breakdown or want to see more game-changing combos, smash that like button, subscribe for more elite Pokemon TCG deck builds, and drop a comment telling me which combos or decks you want to see next. Until next time, trainers, keep training, keep battling, and stay ready to dominate the battlefield. I'll see you in the next video.
Don't forget to subscribe!